Now that we know that the engine is running healthy and there's no problems with the fuel or the electrical systems, we can move on from here. And the next thing we're going to be working on is on the suspension. So these are the coilovers that the owner had on before, probably just some no brand cheap coilovers that he had on. And we're going to be throwing these on, some Airlift Performance airbags that we had sitting around for a while, but we never got to use them. So we're going to pass them on to him. He's been contemplating on getting bags for the longest. I don't know why. And they were always going to be really helpful for him because he always had a VR6 swap and the oil pan is really low to the ground. So with this, he's not going to have any more clearance issues. Alright, so I finished up installing the front airbags, and we also got these fittings installed over here on the air tank that the owner is going to be running. And while I was doing this, my dad was actually working on the air lines over here and on the valve system that's going to go inside.
Instead of having the manual gauges, the double needle gauges, we decided to go with one single gauge. Really has the port pressure for all the bags and also for the tank in the top, which is this one. So I think it's gonna be something cleaner than dual needles and stuff. So I think it's kind of nice. I have the same gauge in my cabin and it works fine, so I want to try it again with this one. So we're gonna be doing installing the tank in the bed, and we're gonna be doing some hard lines, something clean, something simple, not too many hard lines, just something clean. And we're also going to be working in the rear bags that we have in the back. We're doing something different. The owner didn't want to spend the money in the 4-link. It's kind of pricey. Obviously, it's the best option to my opinion. It's not like he's going to be putting any weight or anything in that thing. It's just more like for the looks. But whatever he want to put some stuff in there, he should be able to hold it. Nothing. The truck wasn't meant anyways to hold anything heavy, so I think we should be fine.
Yeah. Okay, let me show you all real quick. It's going to be leaving the top one, which is the longest one. And what we want basically is to have the bag sitting right here. So unfortunately, that's going to require some modification. We're going to have to cut some of this off. It's not going to affect the truck in any way. And then we're going to cut some of this off as well. This is the plate that holds all the bolts for the axle. We're back in the garage now. It's been a few days since we've been here actually. We're taking care of some other work related stuff. But I just want to show you all where we last left off. As you can see, we got some of the frame cut off. The bag should clear fine here actually. We got the bag here mounted in, mocked up with the bracket that's going to hold it in place up here. It's more than enough space, like we can push it in more or back if we want. As you can see, we also got the 2 of the leaf springs removed as well. As you can see, it's only the longest one, the the bottom one that does all the work really, that's still on there. And yeah, if this doesn't end up working out, eventually we can put the leaf springs back in, so it's not a big problem. But now I just have to finish up the other side. Just a few things left with the air system. My dad still has to finish up with the setup inside, with all the electrical stuff, the compressor, and we still have to route the lines to the rear bags. The front lines are already routed, so we don't have to worry about those anymore. And one more thing that I want to show you all is up here in the engine bay. We got the coolant system figured out as well. Basically, as soon as we got the engine running, we got the radiator here, all aluminum radiator with the slim fans, the 2 hoses, just all OEM routing of the lines, nothing different from OEM. Only thing is that the owner is no longer running the heater core, so they didn't have to run any lines for that. Ignore this filler neck for now, it's just temporary while we get a custom aluminum reservoir made right here in between the air intake and the intake manifold. We actually struggled immensely when we were doing the cooling system on Mark 1 3.6. We took forever to bleed it, since in these swaps you don't have the original location of the reservoir up here, or even with the aluminum reservoirs here that are custom made, we still struggle with those to bleed the cooling system as well. But I think we got it figured out now. We just fill up the radiator first, and then the engine block, and then you can fill up the rest of the system, because a lot of air gets trapped in the radiator and the block. But once you get those filled up first, the bleeding should be straightforward from then on. And this car actually bled on the first try. I'm just glad we got it figured out, since we always waste so much time with that.
All right, so this is what we have. We end up using this universal air bag with some bracket that we made. Actually, a friend of us made it for us. It's just basically a pipe with a flange to bolt it into the bag, and then we just brace it underneath in the leaf spring. We'll see how it handles, how it goes. We're gonna check the air pressure as well. You know, we don't want it to be too bouncy, too low, too high, so we still have to mess with that. So this is pretty much it. We're kind of ready to put it down already and give it a try.
So unfortunately, last night when we finished up with the rear bags, it was way too dark out, and it was just way too late to get the truck fired up, to get the truck running and the entire air system filled up. So instead, we just finished up on the shifter adjustments real quick. We got all the gears shifting in smoothly. That was 1 through 5th. This is reverse. Super solid shift. I honestly love these shifter towers. It's one of the best things you could ever get for one of these old VWs. It just completely transforms this truck, I'd say. It's so much cooler now with this shifter here. And we also got out here, we got the front end in as well. We got the front support over here bolted on with a few rivets behind it, so it's not going anywhere. We got the grill installed, and since we have the shave bay, well, the owner has the shave bay, the engine bay, he deleted the cable from to pop the hood open. So instead, we did a little cable down here with this little VW logo, so it's pretty cool. And now, since it's the afternoon now, I'm gonna get the truck fired up, make sure that the bags are filling up correctly with all the air they need, and make sure the wheels spin perfectly fine. So I'm gonna turn this thing on right now. So now that we got the compressor running, I sent some edge to the front bags and made sure that these fat tires with these snowflakes weren't rubbing at all, and thankfully they aren't. I also sent a bit of air to the 2 rear wheels, and as you can see, they went up a lot. I only have about 40 pounds of pressure in the back, I'd say, and they already went up like, this is like a stock height caddy right here, stock height rapid pickup. So that just went up so much. I think we're gonna have to do some tampering with the rear suspension after all. But we really don't know until we put this thing down. And unfortunately we had a leak over here. It was a pretty bad leak. It's already at 50 pounds of pressure. It had about 120 before I turned off the truck. So this fitting down here had a leak. I tightened this slightly. It's gonna need a bit more. And then this fitting back here, this is for the compressor. This feeds the tank from the compressor. So I think this fitting is actually bad. I don't think it's sealing correctly because the leak is coming from out here. As you can see, I play with it a little bit and air starts to leak. So it's not from over here where the Teflon tape could be. That's usually the case, but not this time. So gotta take care of those two things real quick, and then I can put the truck down after all. So we're back in the garage now. We made it back from the exhaust shop with absolutely no problems. The engine ran great. Engine was cooling fine. No issues at all. We decided to give this thing a 2.5-inch downpipe and into a wide pipe that led to a 3-inch exhaust all the way back to a 3-inch Garcia muffler. So it sounds absolutely beautiful. I love how it sounds. You just can't go wrong with a Garcia muffler on these VR6s. I know the owner's gonna love it once he sees it himself. He hasn't seen it in person yet ever since he brought it in. He's only seen pictures so far. And we also wrapped up the air suspension as well. We got the leaks taken care of. We got the switches here figured out. This is the setup that we went with inside. The 4 switches with the digital gauge in here. Let me show you how it looks slammed right now. Check out how slammed this thing is right now. Yeah, that looks real good. Can't imagine once he throws on whatever wheels he's gonna have on this thing, but it's gonna look sick no matter what, honestly. So after the exhaust shop, we started to take care of a few things. The first one was taking care of the O2 sensors, so we got those wrapped up. The tune that this ECU has on this truck only requires 2 O2 sensors after the downpipes. So that's why they were welded where they are instead of the usual 4 spots on the downpipes that are the OEM locations. And the second thing is we got the interior wrapped up. We got all of our mess cleaned up, and we got this Mark III 12-volt VR6 cluster fitted on. And the best thing is that it's fully functional, so the coolant temperature works, the speedometer, the RPMs, the fuel gauge, even all the warning lights, such as the check engine or the oil pressure lights, they all work as if we were still on a Mark III. With those details taken care of now, I think that's gonna wrap up the project. It's changed so much ever since we got it 3 weeks ago. We've been messing with the interior, the engine bay, even the exterior. And now I think I'm just gonna take it around the block and maybe get some clips and a few pictures of it, just to document some of the work that we've been doing to it. So yeah, let us know what you think about it. Do you like the project? What are your thoughts on it? I think it turned out great. We're really happy with how it turned out. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.